Okay, so you watched our first video on the world of Our Brilliant Ruin, and you're intrigued by a socially intricate world of the ever-rising threat of the ruin? Great! Let's get you in the game and show you how to build a character. First up, you're going to choose a faction. You can catch a quick description of each of them in our intro to the world, but the long and short of it is you can be in the elite high-class aristocracy, the dependable working-class true folk, or the individualistic outsiders, the unbonded. As an aristocrat, you'll have more points to distribute in your portfolio and a higher portfolio ceiling, and belong to a family that informs your worldview. While one house prizes experimentation, privacy, and insight, another prizes exploration, glamour, and indulgence. Is that house Becca? Did they put my house in this game? As a true folk, you'll choose a guild rather than a family that informs a similar worldview, and have more points to allocate to skills, as well as assigning one skill you'll always succeed in. This infallible skill is your trademark and gives you a specialization over all others. And finally, as an unbonded, you decide what pushed you outside of society, but you don't have the formal structure of aristocrats or true folk. Perhaps you are an ousted formal royal or rebel seeking to champion justice. You have a reduced but more balanced spread of personality, skill, and portfolio points, but start with 2 more vitality and distress boxes than aristocrats or true folk, and are a little hardier in the face of ruin-afflicted damage. Next, choose a name and write your epigram. Your epigram is your character's mission statement. It could be a value that guides your character, a change your character wishes to make in the world, or even a factually incorrect belief that determines your actions. The epigram is a blueprint for how you'll interact with the world around you. For instance, maybe my epigram would be "Life's a game and I'm gonna win it," which is factually true, but also would make for a particularly wily true folk PI. Finally, you'll assign your starting points based on your faction across the 3 character attributes of personality, skills, and portfolio. Personality speaks to emotions, motives, and values when you take actions. High numbers indicate higher regard for that mode of thought, and since personality determines most dice pools for actions you'll take, they are important for deciding how your character affects the ruined worlds. Whether you act out of cunning or audacity may determine the results of how you handle a doorman barring you entrance from an estate, so choose carefully. Skills speak to your training, vocation, and expertise from the course of your life. Generally, your skills will complement a personality attribute in building your dice pools to determine how successful an action is. Our Brilliant Ruin uses a personality plus skill system that breaks away from a strictly simulationist tradition to allow for interpretation from players and GMs alike. For example, a true folk might be delivering an incendiary speech to their guild. The oratory itself might involve a defiance plus foster test to incite the assembled mob to hostility, whereas a sensitivity plus express test would check how well the character has conveyed their intended message of losing their bodily autonomy, having been afflicted by the ruin. And lastly, portfolio is a semi-exhaustible resource only applied to very specific situations that must be regained. At the start of a session, each player may replenish one of their portfolio attributes to its maximum value. These attributes, like entourage and wealth, can help succeed where a regular application of personality plus skill might not. But portfolio is different. It isn't tested, but rather spent. You might spend entourage to have a crew guard the entrances to a guild hall as you break in to shake down a rival. Spending wealth might allow you to purchase gifts to offer a host at a party to ingratiate yourself with the aristocrats, like me. Use your wealth, buy me presents, get ingratiated. All of this makes a unique system built to tell stories of intrigue and tension. Speaking of tension, next up, we'll be going over resolving tests, the success and failure system of Our Brilliant Ruin that lends so much of the tension to the game. So check out Our Brilliant Ruin on Kickstarter right now and come on back for more great games and good times. Bye-bye.